My understanding of Catholicism and the Mass has been an interesting one. I grew up with two parents on the opposite ends of the religious spectrum. My mother, who was never a very big fan of organized religion or church in general, was on one end, and my father, who grew up in a very Catholic household, was on the other. Because of my mom's indifference to going to Mass, my family and I never really ended up going, except on a select few holidays throughout the year. Because of this, I didn't have a very good grasp on the concept of what the Mass was. Of course, this changed after 13 years of Catholic school. My dad was a teacher at Palmer Catholic Academy, which I and both of my siblings attended. Palmer was surprisingly easygoing for a Catholic school, and as a result, I think I adopted a friendlier view towards the church than I think I would have otherwise. We had to attend Mass every Friday morning during the school year, and we would sing songs like Be Not Afraid and One Bread, One Body, which were easy and fun for kids between the ages of 5 and 14 to sing. I participated in the school choir from 4th grade to 6th grade, and I loved to sing, even though the whole operation was a bit of a mess. This was my first and only real-life experience with the false creativity and liturgical democracy Swain spoke of in his book. There were 3 people responsible for what was sung at the Masses performed at our school: Our Lady's Star of the Sea, the school choir director, the choir director of the normal Sunday Masses, and the musical director of the church. These 3 were in constant conflict about what was appropriate for us to sing or how the song should be performed. We would often end up singing songs that we had only rehearsed for 1 or 2 days prior to the Friday Mass because of this. Once I quit the choir, I became much less engaged in the Masses we participated in at school and my faith in general. This trend more or less continued until my senior year of high school, when I went on a mission trip to St. Croix with about 30 of my classmates. It was there that I really saw how compassionate and caring Catholicism could be. Everyone around me was so eager to participate in the Mass and sang so passionately that it kind of inspired the same kind of willingness to be a part of something in me. The trip really helped to shape my faith and how important I believe the music is to the Mass. Because I have experienced what I have in relationship to the Catholic Mass, this is what I believe. Music should be the means of connecting the congregation with God. It should be something that the audience can participate in, because if the music is not interactive, how can the bridge be formed between the word and the people? It should be enjoyable. The congregation should be happy to participate in the Mass and experience a deep personal connection with God through the music. Elements of secular music should be present to help bring this about. However, the pop and folk music that has been used so heavily in Masses since the Second Vatican Council needs to go. The music doesn't necessarily represent the seriousness or the happiness that the Mass signifies, and it isn't the best means of translating that. I also believe that there needs to be a transcendent element. While I do think the Mass should be enjoyable, the music needs to be able to remind the audience of how sacred the service actually is. While it should be enjoyable to listen to, the music needs to have an element of seriousness about it that emphasizes its transcendent nature. It needs to make people feel something. Additionally, the music and the Mass itself should incorporate elements of the culture it's being practiced in. When I was in St. Croix, we attended a Mass at a local school, in which a few of the songs were sung in French and Spanish, reflecting the history of the island and the additional languages that the children we attended the Mass with also spoke. People connect with the Mass because they are able to see themselves and their communities within the service. Christianity is a syncretistic religion at its roots, and it's important to acknowledge that. I believe that music is one of the most important elements of the Mass. If there's one thing that I've learned from my time at Catholic school, it's that God is love, and I believe that the music in the Mass is one of the best ways of showing God that we love Him back.